Well, I got a new radio in, or new to me anyway. It was a used radio I got off of eBay. Saved about $100. Bought it from another ham that seemed to probably one of my best eBay transactions. I'm gonna turn this down. Of course, I've tuned to the dumpster of 40 meter, but I just wanted to kind of go over a few of these radios. Set this one up here too. There we go. So my FT891 is in the car, but I do have G90, FT-710, FT991a, and FX4CR. Let's see if I don't think I have it. Yeah, I don't have it plugged in right now. But today I'm just going to focus on these three. So I've got a antenna switch here. I'm missing one of my, I've got to find my other jumper thing. But I've been swapping between the two. So if you notice, let's go to 7200. Okay. So you can see the waterfall here. I really like the waterfall on this thing. Still really like the waterfall on this thing. But if I switch over to this one, you've got a lot of information right here. One of the things that I didn't realize, so I bought this radio first. And one of the things that everybody said was this is a small radio, rig radio, what I call them radios, but that, you know, it's a smaller radio than a lot of the other ones, and that's one of the big benefits to it. And they actually said that compared to this one. But to be honest with you, when I pulled it out of the box, it's like, dang, this thing's tiny compared to what I expected. I think the ICOM 7300 might be a little bigger. I don't know. But that's probably one that I'll eventually buy as well. But I was expecting this one to be the size of that one. That one's quite a bit bigger. But it's got a bigger display than this one. The Waterfall is much, much, much bigger, or much more responsive. Let me say that. So when I scroll over, it's more real time. I can see where things are going. I can see where signals are. So this waterfall, sorry, you can't really see that. So if I move over, see how I've got actually kind of a waterfall here to some degree as I dial over to stuff. Oops, I just hit something. Yeah, but anyway, but you can see how much more, to me, it's easier to find traffic with this radio than it is with this one. Probably about the same. Honest, I know this is crazy, but for a $400 and something radio, this Waterfall, at least as far as responsiveness, is on par with this radio. Pretty darn close. You know, so you can see the activity here. And if I switch over to this one, you can see how responsive, how well I can see. Now, I say this, switching back over to this one, I can see all around with this. I do like the fact, so if you look at this waterfall, it's just, this is my center, and this is around me. This one, well, there's 7140, there's 7180, there's 7220. So it actually kind of gives you an idea of where everything is. I am going to buy a monitor for this thing, and you know, you can buy a monitor that's bigger. The guy sent a mouse with it. He sent an extra book with it. As far as I can tell, it looks like a brand new unit. I don't see anything that, you know, looks like a brand new unit. So I'm pretty happy. I was going to buy one brand new off of DX Engineering was my intention, and I happened to hop on eBay and ended up spending more than I wanted to for a used rig, but the guy had really good reviews. He was an actual ham radio guy, not somebody that was just selling stuff on YouTube, and he was just basically getting rid of it because he needed the money, and he lived in an HOA. So real happy with it. And he's actually got a antenna power meter sort of like this, but a diamond, I think, that he's wanting to get rid of. So I'm probably going to buy that one from him too, just to say, honestly, just to have it. And you know, he was fantastic. But if you look at all of the information you have here, I'm 90% sure you can. Oh, look at there. You can change this. I know you can change that somehow to not an analog type deal. I literally just got this out of the box. I put power poles on it, Anderson power poles, and that's pretty much as far as I've gotten. Played with it a little bit, got it dialed in a little bit where you could actually see the waterfall. When I first got it, it didn't have a lot of things going on, and it was just flooded out. You couldn't see anything. Now I can see the activity. And again, I'm going to say I can see the activity on this thing. Just, it's beautiful. You can really see what's going on the bands around you. So far, absolutely impressed with this one. And I'm going to say it now already, just from getting this rig versus this one. And I bought that one brand new. It was right at $1,200. If you are on the fence, if you're looking at a 991A and a 710, buy this one. No question, no contest. Get this one. Do not get this one. Again, I like this radio. I will still use this radio. I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to sell it. This one's going to go in my camper, and I like it. But man, I really like this one. This will end up being my main home base setup, I think. I'll probably still look for of course, my justification for things is I'm going to buy this one, and that'll be it. That's my base radio. That's what I'm going to get, and that's it. And that's where I was going to stay. I do want to get an Icom 7300 at some point. And man, just from looking at this one, what I've seen here, I really like this one. I've been very impressed just fiddling with it, listening to the quality. One of the things I do like about this one versus this one. So you can see I made this noise reduction button here a hotkey. This one, it's built in. It's just a button. So you've got a little bit more buttons on this one than you do this one. The microphone it came with is a little bit different. I don't know what the difference would be between these two microphones. So I don't know if these buttons work. Oh, so I just locked it, unlocked it. That does something. I don't know what it does, but I'll fiddle with this microphone. This one feels a little more hefty. And this one came with a 991A. This one also has, oh, check that out. I can use the microphone to test it. Ooh. I don't really want to transmit yet because my little homemade antenna switch, it goes to the other radios. So I don't know if a regular antenna switch does that, but when I transmit from one, it feeds into the other, and I'm not sure if that's good for the radio, and I don't want to do that. So I've got to be kind of careful there. But man, I'm really liking this radio. So again, if you are on the fence and you're looking at buying radios, I've spent, $1,200, right at $800, $500, another $500 or so for this one. If I'm going to say, if you're on a budget and you don't want to spend a lot of money and you want a good radio to get started with, you cannot beat the G90. Buy it. I will buy more of these radios. I have two now, but I absolutely intend to buy several more eventually. I'm going to put this one in my truck, and it's going to be my mobile radio for my truck. So I'm thinking I'm going to make like a bracket for this, I think, that I can literally just slide it in to place. I believe that's how I'm going to do it, to where you can just drop it into a bracket, hook power poles up, hook up a antenna, and you'll have a way to connect with the truck, but you can also pull it out and take it with you. Great little radio. Can't say enough good things about it. Again, the only downside to me is it doesn't have digital noise reduction. Add that to it, and I can't see where you could improve. One of the comments that I'd made that I'd like to see is one of these. If you look at the microphone for this radio, one thing I do actually prefer about this microphone, if you look, this one's actually got a bunch of buttons on it that you can do stuff with the radio. So especially if I'm mounting this mobile, I can switch bands. I can do a lot of things from the microphone, and I really do like that option. And this one feels pretty, I mean, that's a nice little microphone. I've had really good audio reports from this. I'm happy with this. But it also has 144 and 430, so you've got 2 meter, 70 centimeter. And one of my complaints is, man, if you're going to have that, then why not have a radio that you can use this microphone with that gives you all of those bands? And if they came out with one, I'd probably buy it, just to be honest with you. If you came out with a G91 that had 2 meter built in, I would definitely buy the radio. However, now that I've had a radio that has all of that stuff in it, this does have 2 meter, 70 centimeter. What I'm finding is I really don't use it. The 2 meter, 70 centimeter part of this radio, I just haven't used. I may eventually use it. I may see that I use it more, but I don't really see what this radio has done for me versus basically any other type of radio like this. Any other 2 meter, 70 centimeter radio that I could buy. So a lot of what I was told was buy a HF rig and then buy a separate 2 meter, 70 centimeter radio. And considering the cost of this one versus the cost of this one, I could have bought this radio and had a separate $200 left to spend to buy a 2 meter, 70 centimeter radio. That's more than enough to buy a decent one. And, you know, even a yaesu that's about $250. So I spent right at $800 on this. For what I spent here, I could have bought this and another yaesu 2 meter, 70 centimeter separate radio. And I think I would have been better off. So, again, I am going to say, for the money, when you consider what I spent on this radio versus this radio, and even at new prices, you can get these for, I think, $950 new right now. Man, I like this radio. Immediately, just as soon as I pulled it out of the box, plugged it in, and started messing with it and tuning stuff in, I just immediately had a better experience with this radio. It's better. It's just a better radio. You can see what this is an older one than this one is, and you can see the improvements that they've made to this radio. And I don't miss the 2 meter, really, to me, 70 centimeters I don't really see the point of it. Honestly, if you're going to do 70 centimeters, I'm going to go with a 2 meter overall, for most of the uses that I see. I just don't see 70 centimeters. So I never really think about 70 centimeter. If I got a 2 meter only radio, that would probably be fine. But if I've got a radio, I wouldn't mind having it in it. But I always kind of group the two of them together into 2 meter. But, like I said, this radio, looking at the scope, or the waterfall, seeing how much you can see, and you can just easily, there's a span, where was it? There was a button I hit a minute ago, and I was able to, but here, look at this, watch, see when I scan by it, how you can actually see where you're going. so well. It's very responsive. I know you really can't see that, but you've got so many. Oops. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know you could do that. Oh, look at that. That's neat. Anyway, I'm going to play with this a little bit, but I don't like that. I like the Waterfall better. There it is, span. So you can span way on out there with that if you want to. Like I said, man, that's just really cool to me. I can see all the way from 7100 all the way over to 7300. So I've got the entire 40 meter band that I can see right now and see any activity going on. Like I said, again, I'm going to reiterate it. Coming from somebody that just dumped $1,200 into that radio versus this one, buy that one. No questions asked. If the 2 meters, 70 centimeters is something that you're looking at, and maybe System Fusion, that might be the only thing that this is going to give you differently than this. Every other avenue, every other thing, every other feature that I've seen on this radio in the 20 minutes that I've messed with this one is automatically better than this one. And, you know, again, look at your size comparison. For some reason, I was expecting this to be a massive radio compared to this. But, I mean, you know, you've got that height. It's a hair bigger. You've got the width. It's just a hair bigger, but not much. And for what you're getting in this radio, to me, if I could trade this one for one more of these, I'd do it in a heartbeat. No question. Wouldn't even think about it. This one would just be gone, and I'd have another one of these. Flat out, right away. So, again, I'm going to say buy the 710 if you're in the market for one or the other of these. I wish somebody would have kind of done something like this when I was looking at these. And, you know, in all reality, they probably did. I looked at a lot of stuff, and a lot of people said, just go straight to the 710. And I will absolutely concur with that. Love this radio compared to this one. One thing I don't see on this one, so this one, you've got a dial back here that you can adjust the tension on this knob. And I tend to prefer it a little bit harder to turn. So I've got it adjusted kind of hard to the right. This one, I don't see that adjustment. There may be one, but it's pretty easy to turn. And again, you know, I'm no expert at this thing. Oh, check it out. It's down here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, again, I'm going to say I like the way that works compared to that one. So even that, I prefer the way this one's set up. So, oh, check that out. Oh, that's cool. So the 891 has this feature, the quick memory bank, and I actually like that, especially for mobile. Now, sitting here at my office, I don't know how much of a use that is, but man, I'm telling you, I really like this radio. Automatically, I like it better. Again, probably the biggest disappointment I have with this radio is the Waterfall. I don't have it where I can flip it over yet, but I should have done that. But the Waterfall on this is sluggish. It's more like pictures. Just it's a slow refresh. It works okay, but it doesn't work well. This radio, as far as your Waterfall, is 1,000 times better to me than this one is. The big difference with this one, obviously, you got the 2 meters and 70 centimeter, and you have DNR. But so far, Everything that I've been able to tune in with this radio, I've been able to tune in with this one. So money-wise, I would, again, trade this one for 2 of these, or trade this one for 1 of these in a heartbeat. So, you know, that's what I'm seeing so far. I really like this one. I do like the fact that you can also add a monitor to the top of it that expands this out, and it's got a mouse. And I don't know what the SD card is useful for, but he gave me one of those with it. And I guess there's a USB port in this thing somewhere. And he sent the mouse. He sent a couple of books with it. It came with a few other accessories that I don't think it comes with from the factory. So, you know, for what I paid for it, I am going to run it through this and make sure that, you know, the finals aren't blown out or anything stupid like that. But just listening to the guy, talking to him a little bit, I was impressed with what I heard. I don't think I'm going to have anything to worry about. But, you know, so if you look, I might blow that out a little bit. So I'm right here. So I can bring it right over.
How you Doris there, Joe, and join us
it's the picture. The camera isn't doing this justice. That's beautiful. A nice display. The colors work real well. And it don't look the same as I'm looking at it through the camera. It doesn't look as crisp as I'm looking at it through the camera. Just like this one, kind of the same thing. Looking at that display through the camera, it's the camera doesn't do that justice. It looks washed out, just like this one looks washed out. But very, very. That's one thing I'm really impressed with this radio is very crisp display, and really a better display than the G90. I'll say that it's probably a better display. Is it useful? I don't know. Does it really matter? At least right now, I'll take this radio over this one right now. That may change, but I still prefer the G90. But you know, again, it looks like I can pull signals out of the noise easier with this one. It seems to be a more sensitive receiver. I know on the Sherwood reports, this one is way up there. So, one of the things that I've seen too, here, let me turn this down. We seem to be living in kind of a golden age of radios. This one is what, 14 years old or something like that. So brand new out of the box. This one, 14 years ago, was really nice, I guess. That one, that ICOM over there, that one isn't, I don't know how old that one is, but you can see kind of a big jump to this one. Is really, it seems like a better radio in some ways. Now, I will say this, the audio on that was fantastic. It's still a great radio. I can't bring myself to get rid of it, and I will keep it. So I tend to, it seems like I've kind of gone to all Yaesus. I've got 3 Yaesu radios now, but I am probably going to buy, not in the near future. I've spent all the money I can spend at this point, but I'm probably going to buy an ICOM 7300. I've actually seen more used 7300s on the market than about any other radio, which they seem to be some of the most popular, which is why I bought this one when I saw a decent deal on it, and I wanted to start here. One of the things that I had read was everybody said that this one receives better than just about any of the other. For the money, you're not going to find a better radio that receives as well as this one. And one of the things that I've learned is if you can't hear the person you're talking to, then it don't matter how well you can transmit to them. It don't matter how good you can get out. You need to be able to have a conversation and hear them, and this one seems to give you an edge on that. And again, on the Sherwood Reports site, this radio is kind of the one. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling, but if you're on the fence between these two radios, get this one. If you want something cheaper, get that one. Jury's still out on this one. So anyway, have a great day. I hope I helped somebody.